let's backtrack a little bit and ask the basic question. What is it that makes a business successful? And the formula for that is very simple. A business is successful if it continually finds new customers and it retains the customers it has found. And if you do those two things, that's it. Bingo, success. We know it doesn't happen, and then we have to ask ourselves why. And usually the reason why is because what the business does on the online world at the moment, because if we take this on offline, we constantly adjust our behavior to satisfy our customers. But that's because we constantly read the signals. So if you're in the street corner, for instance, selling, I don't know, hot dogs, somebody comes up and he says, do you have relish? And you know they want a hot dog with relish. So if you have relish, you'll try to give them that. You say, I have hot relish and medium relish. If I have hot mustard and medium mustard, depending on what they want. When they come online, there's no such interaction in real time. So you have to hope that your content asynchronously, that the system you have set up actually does that on a blind basis. And this is, in order for that to happen, what do you have to do? The almost impossible thing. You have to imagine all the possible intentions of somebody coming to your website and trying then to cater to all those possible events. And becomes really difficult and really complex. So essentially, we try to understand intent through behavior. We need to understand that intent itself is an internal state in how we feel. Behavior is an external state in what we actually see. So behavior is data. We can capture it. We can see how a person performs or behaves on a website. We can see where they go. We can see what they do next. We can see when they abandon something. Now, from that, we begin then the process of translating for ourselves their internal state. So if somebody abandons a page, what are the options? The options are that they're unsatisfied, that they came there by mistake, that this is not what they're looking for, that perhaps the item is too expensive, perhaps the service is not trustworthy enough because there's something on the page which makes them consider that, maybe I don't want to take the risk of carrying out a transaction, or they may simply left it and come back at a later date. So all those things are in play. And what we need to try and do is understand this as much as possible and create the funnel that leads to the right kind of transactional outcome, which for us is usually a conversion of some kind. Somebody reads an article, buys a product, sends us a message or whatever it is that we want to do. And this is where it gets really interesting because everybody asks, okay, how do you know what people want? And I have an answer to this, but I think we've got a couple more questions before we get to that.
You started talking about the SEMrush. Let's mention some tools which are very good for helping our audience and our users to plan their content. And after that, we are jumping to the content amplification topic.
Perfect. So the first set of tools, let's work with different workflows. So the first workflow that is for content analysis and content creation will be a keyword magic tool just for analyzing what is happening inside of your environment. I mean, your niche. You just need to use keyword magic tool to understand what are the other related keywords or maybe the questions that people are using for identify your product or your services. Second point, from that keyword research that you are doing, you need to identify those by intent. That means you need to go with those with question search queries, with some filters related to your business. Let's say price. Let's identify, for example, some specifics. If you are selling bicycles, let's say sports, some specific words that you are using. Then identifies those who are activating SERP features, such as the feature snippets, images, videos. People also ask questions, and then work with them if you don't have those results. So you have your list of questions, then your list of keywords, then your list of questions. Then we're going to use the second set of tools, which are related to content creation. The first one is topic research. So you have your keyword, you enter that keyword into topic research just to understand if people indeed are searching for that, let's say today, because it's a live tool. the same example as Bitcoin that I just mentioned. You want to write about Bitcoin. You enter Bitcoin word into content topic research.
The focus keyword in your URL, if that works. You've got it in your title tag at the beginning, possibly in your meta description. It's not used for ranking, but your meta description is much better to be used as like almost like a little mini advertisement for your content, like a 2-line ad. But if you can get your keyword in there, great, that helps too. I try and use it in my H1 tag, my main title, if that works. If not, I use it in my H2 tag. So we've got URL, title tag, meta description, H1, H2. You're gonna probably, without even meaning to, use it in your first 100 words. You're going to use your image alt tag, you're going to use it in your image file name, and then you're going to use it in your internal links back to that page. You're going to wrap your links around keywords. After that, I don't really care about my focus keyword, because if I'm writing, it's not about focus keywords, it's about the focus of the content. If I know who my audience is, I understand their searcher intent, I understand their questions, their pain point, and their problem, I'm going to naturally use relevant keywords without even trying. Now, lots of people say, oh, keyword research is dead. I don't agree with that. I still think there can be a lot of value in looking at two different keywords. Sorry, I did that. 2 different keywords and going, this one has a lot of traffic. This one has a lot of traffic, but there are fewer people competing for this one than this one. So if I could pick one, I'm going to pick this one. And it may not be that I ignore the other one completely. I'll still use that in the article. But I do think, especially from a small business point of view, from a business point of view, often the things we think people are searching for, they're absolutely not what people are searching for at all. So I do think keyword research is essential, but I don't think you should then try and hammer keywords into every bit of the copy. You should just write great copy. And Google follows humans. So I have written blog posts on my website that had no keyword research. There's no focus keyword. I didn't do any SEO on them. And they've had 150,000 reads.
I'll figure out how to do something like that somewhere down the road. I think let's go very extreme with a query. Let's say someone says, buy Nikon digital camera now. Okay, that's a pretty extreme query. That says, it's like, I want to buy a Nikon digital camera right now. So you're going to find scenarios like that where the commercial intent is very high. And so it kind of goes back to the data I shared about the percentage of queries that are going to organic versus paid. So users know when they have a buying intent. Mm-hmm. So, and why do 24% of the people click on ads rather than organic? Even though it's pretty clear from the data that most users probably recognize the difference, in spite of not being very prominently marked. It's the people who click on the ads is because they know they want to buy something. They actually want to be sold to right now. The action they have in mind is, I want to buy. So I don't want to read an article. I don't want to read reviews. I've entered this query. My intent is I'm going to go buy something.